Hello beautiful soul, it's lesson 10, reflection time of the workbook. And the sentence of this lesson is, my thoughts do not mean anything. It says that our thoughts are not our real thoughts, but that we have no basis for comparison as of yet. And when you do, you will have no doubt that what you once believed were your thoughts did not mean anything. I am so excited about this sentence and this kind of guidance. And I appreciate the patience, that we have to display in this work, going through this workbook. And I keep practicing the patience, and at the same time knowing that something wonderful is coming, that at one point something happens and we can actually see that the thoughts that we are currently classified as our thoughts are not really our thoughts. I feel kind of like a child before Christmas that just cannot wait to see what it gets as presents. That's how I feel when I read this sentence. I appreciate as well really the exercise of lesson 10. I have done it a couple of times throughout the day, taking a minute as well to reflect and observe all of the thoughts that are in my mind, and then always saying that these thoughts don't mean anything, and then following up at the end of the exercise with this sentence, this idea will help to release me from all that I now believe. I really enjoyed this exercise, especially as well saying the sentence out loud at the end. It already made me feel a little bit lighter and somehow cared for, as if there is somebody helping me to give away all of the thoughts and beliefs that I have inside of me that are not serving me anymore or might have never served me. So I really appreciated the exercise of lesson 10. But the real focus for me is on paragraph 3 of the exercise. There was just so much insight in that text that I had literally to take it apart sentence by sentence for me to be able to somehow understand it. And if I'm very honest, I still don't fully understand it. That's okay. But I anyway set myself down and really looked at every sentence, read it a few times and really reflected, okay, what is it trying to tell me? So let me share with you my thoughts on that paragraph. So first it talks about the thoughts being meaningless and on the outside and not within. And that is something that is referring back to lesson 4. That now makes a little bit more sense to me, because we learned now between lesson 4 and lesson 10 through lesson 7 and 8 that our thoughts are preoccupied only with the past. Therefore, classifying the thoughts as meaningless and on the outside from us starts now to make a little bit more sense to me through lessons 7 and 8. So having that additional information. But then it goes on to say that if we are having these kind of thoughts, which are the only thoughts that we currently know of, right? We learned this already at the beginning, that we currently don't have any comparison for it. So if we are having these kind of thoughts, that's the only thoughts that we currently know of, it means that we are not thinking and that our mind is actually blank. That's what it says in paragraph 3. And it stated this for the first time as well in lesson 8, that when you are thinking about the past or anticipating the future, that your mind is actually blank, because it is not really thinking about anything. So it said that in lesson 8 already. And now in lesson 10, it says again, your mind is really a blank. You know, what comes up for me is You know this feeling when you're so close to getting something and really understanding it, like getting it, but you're just not? Do you know this feeling? That's how I currently feel. It's like it just needs another drop of water into the bucket for the bucket to tip over and the flood of understanding coming to me. But it just isn't there yet. That drop of water is still missing for me. And I guess it's just another chance for me to be patient and trust the process. And then the last sentence, it says in the paragraph, to recognize this is to recognize nothingness. When you think you see it, as such, it is a prerequisite for vision. For me, this is an invite for us to accept that we have first to accept that we don't really see correctly before we will ever be able to see correctly through vision. And this reminds me of something just a few days ago. Do you know these books with pictures on there, and you are supposed to look at the pictures really hard and actually see the 3D picture in the 2D picture page? We actually had these as kids, and now my niece got one of these books for Christmas just a few days ago. So I still remember that. The first time you get one of these books, or you get one in your hands and you're trying to see what other people see, it's really hard, right? Because first you see just the 2D picture and nothing else, and nothing happens. And people kind of have to tell you about 100 times what you're supposed to be doing to be able to see the 3D picture. But you keep practicing, you keep trying, and nothing happens. All you see is the 2D picture, no matter what you do. I think I still remember this from my childhood. But you keep trying, and you keep letting go of the idea of what is there is not really what you're supposed to be seeing. And you keep believing that there is something else for you to see because other people see it. And then suddenly it clicks, and you suddenly get a glimpse of that 3D picture just for a fraction of a second before it's gone again. But then you know it's true. You know that there is a 3D picture in the 2D picture because you suddenly see it. And that's how I see this exercise, that we have to first unlearn the old way of seeing, trusting that there is something else out there, and believing that there is another way we can see. And one day we will get our first glimpse, and it will be amazing because then we get it. Then we know what everybody else has been talking about. So yeah, lesson 10 was a good challenge for me. I spent quite a lot of time on the text to really help me understand more of it. I still know that I don't understand it all, but by even knowing this and not just putting it to the side and saying, okay, I don't get it at all, minimum spending some quality time with the text really helped me to say, okay, that's fine. The drop of water in the bucket is still missing for me, but I know I will get there. Very beautiful, very beautiful. So thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you enjoyed lesson 10 as much as I did, and as well this review from me. My journey as a student of the workbook, the same as everybody else, and I'm looking forward to see you tomorrow on my review of lesson 11. Until then, bye bye.